Thank you. So we've heard from several groups today. Gosh, there's a lot of people here. Ooh. We've heard from several groups today about their collection of, or their intention to collect baseline data on protected characteristics and about co-production. And we're just going to talk to you about our experience in Bristol and what we've done. So, where do we start? So we know anecdotally that clinical research participants in our integrated care system are mostly white, middle-aged and middle class. Pretty sure that applies across the country, and that's definitely supported by what we've heard here today. So, how can we make sure that our study populations are reflective of our general population? You'll all be familiar with the legal definitions of protected characteristics, but we also took an interest in caring responsibilities and also in deprivation. We can obviously measure that using the index of multiple deprivation, but we know that these impact people's ability to take part in research studies. So we worked out we need evidence. We also know it's not going to fall into our laps, and we're going to have to go out and find it. Once we had established the need for this, we then had to work out how to do it, and how we were going to pay for it, and who was going to do it. And my friend Connie, we appointed her to lead the project, and she's going to come and talk to you about what she did. Come on, Connie.
Thank you, Margie. So the protected characteristics, when I got into the job, I was handed over NIHR diversity data questions, and I looked at them, and they were just asking me about my age, my gender, my sexual orientation, and I was like, so what? So then I decided that we really needed to have more text to why we were asking these questions. Why are these questions important to the people that we're asking them? Are we just being nosy, or do we really need to know this information? So that, from that point, we thought that we really needed to co-design the questions with the members of the public. And we went to recruitment mode. And in our recruitment, we involved members of the public. We reached out to our community partners, our professional partners, to help us in recruiting. When we set out to recruit, we have got 9 protected characteristics that Margie told you. But we decided on 4. We really targeted on sexual orientation, race, religion, and disability. Why? Because in those 4 were the main ones, but the other ones can wrap around it. For example, I am a black female and I'm a Christian. So already I've told you about 3 of my protected characteristics. So those 4 were really important and key to us. So we recruited 29 people to our focus groups. That helped us to co-design a questionnaire that we are going to use in collecting the protected characteristics. In the focus groups, we did go out to the community. We didn't ask the community to come to us. And on screen now, you see what we recruited in terms of the race, in terms of the disability. I have been a research nurse for about 10 years of my life. And then I'm now into the project managing of research projects. But I have never worked with a blind person. And this protected characteristic project gave me an opportunity to work with people that I'd never dreamt that I'll work with. And in one of the focus groups, there was a blind man in there. And he had so much to say about research. He had so much to say. And I was like, why in 12 years have I never recruited anyone who was blind? Because they do suffer from these diseases that we want to recruit to. but we shy away from them. We don't include them in our research. We exclude them because we are not flexible enough. And on the screen, you also see that in the focus groups that we had a really diverse religion beliefs and different sexual orientations. Then at the end, our questionnaire looks like that now, and that's available in an electronic copy and a paper copy. The beige background was influenced by people who said, for people with neurodiverse, the beige background is almost the best color that you can use for them. So we listened to them. The questionnaire, when you print it on paper copy, it looks big. Why? Because that, to us, explains why we are collecting the protected characteristics from these patients, from these participants. It explains why each and every protected characteristic is important to research and why we need to understand the protected characteristics in relation to research. And so we have got so many options that we have got there that we don't want anyone to feel excluded. And if you think that our options are not good enough for you, we also have a box for you to self-describe how you want us to call you. So what did we learn from the engagement that we did? From our engagement with the community, we really learned that we needed to be flexible. We really had to be flexible. We had to build a lot of relationships with our community gatekeepers. And communication was key. We had to be really direct with the way we were communicating. We had to have direct ways and lines of communication. We had to be flexible in the way we recruited. As I said, we went out to our community partners, we went out to our professional partners, but also most of this was also done through word of mouth. And the way we involved everybody, for the people that could not make it to the online focus group or face-to-face focus groups, we gave them the chance to feedback on the questionnaire through emails. And we had to be flexible also in the way that we paid people. We then realized not everyone had a bank account, so we had to have the brown envelopes with the cash and bank transfers and vouchers for the people that were on disability allowance. Then we piloted this in Bristol CRF, and we just wanted to see whether our methods of delivery and data collection was appropriate, and whether it was efficient. The pilot, we did it in 4 weeks, and we sent the URL link to the survey through emails or text messages. We had 9 people who didn't have a text or a mobile phone, and those we used postal questionnaires. And we recruited 582 participants, and they all had to be COVID, isn't it, because of the period that we chose. We got 68.7%. That's a massive high return rate. And 98% of the people allowed us to use their data to link in with the ICB. What did we find? Exactly what we thought. 93.3% of those people were from the white background. Only 4.5% of those people were from non-white ethnic background, which is really low because in the BNSSG that we come from, 14% are from the non-white ethnic backgrounds. What did we learn from it? As a research nurse, I've said, I know my protocol, I know my governance. If you're asking patient data, I need to see a consent form, I need to see your governance. But this was service improvement. So trying to convince people that we don't need a consent form, we don't need approvals for this is service improvement. That was a huge hurdle that we had to get through. But we did get through it. Some participants, however, surely so, they had to be, is this link genuine? Are you trying to scam me? Is it click or no click? That was the question of the day. But so many of these participants ended up phoning Margie and her team to confirm whether the link was genuine. What are we doing now? We are continuing with the Protected Characteristics Project, and we are hoping to finish the expansion of it, but hopefully by April 2025, we would have surveyed research participants in Bristol, North Somerset, ICB. And we have recently co-developed key performance indicators with our focus groups members again to tell us what is really important to them. How can we best measure their inclusion and diversify our research participation? So hopefully, there was a question this morning, how do we collect the data protected characteristics on our research participants? Hopefully, our questionnaire will be a tool for you to use in collecting your protected characteristics on your research participants. Thank you very much.
I've got a couple of questions, but I think we've only got time for one, so I will go through that if that's okay with you. How will you assess the impact of the project? So have you seen a decrease in missing demographic data on a PRES survey responses?
So currently, as we said, we are just literally collecting a baseline. So we are doing a snapshot in Bristol North Somerset region on all the research participants, and we just want to have that baseline so that we'll be able to use the baseline data we have to measure whether our initiatives are going to work. We have currently started to work with the NHS England Research Engagement Networks, the research champions, and we need to look and see whether then that is going to change how diverse our research participation is in the area. Thank you.